Hello Captains, this is Kent again and welcome to the Flight Show. So today I'm doing a little bit something new. I'm doing a bit of a, not so much a tutorial, but more of a working review of a plane that I haven't reviewed before, dealt with in my videos before. This is going to be a business jet. Usually I do commercial or general aviation, but FlySimWare has just released Falcon 50, and I was kind of intrigued by it. And I've read the reviews, and people are really big fans of this airplane for some reason. So I thought if you might be on the fence of trying like business class aviation, I thought I would do a review of this aircraft and give you a taste of what it's like to fly it and see if it intrigues you. Okay, so for one thing, this thing even in idle creeps forward with the brakes on. They're gonna have to work on that. But anyway, I'm gonna lock that back. So anyway. This is, again, the Falcon 50. It's a business class jet. It's pretty large, actually. It's one of the largest business class jets. I mean, unless you just have the money to throw down to convert a 777 into your own personal, aircraft, this is a lot more affordable. But I digress. It's a 3-engine aircraft, and it's long range. I mean, if I remember correctly, it's ETOPS rated. So this class has a range that basically can take businessmen from U.S. to Europe. And I'll go into kind of its specs as we go through the aircraft. But it has some really interesting features. I've been flying it for a little bit, and I am excited. So I think I'll just share with you some of those things. So let's just get started. So as we jump in the aircraft, so one of the things that's interesting about FlySimWare, they're not really noted for their highly detailed, highly rendered cockpits. On that respect, they have a little bit of work to do, but it's not bad. And if you can get past that particular thing, you might be pleasantly surprised. You know, as you look around, it's like I say, it's not bad, just not that Carenado or PMDG level of a cockpit. But I think if you really like the aircraft, you'll kind of look past that very quickly. Now, what it also incorporates here is the what's the name of that? I keep forgetting it, so let me pull it up. It incorporates a third-party radar. What's the word I'm looking for? Integration of third-party weather radar rendering, and I can't tell you much about it because unfortunately when they release this, the weather radar doesn't work with prepared version 4.4. So unfortunately it's left blank. So we're just going to have to get back to you on that one. In fact, I just want to tell you what the name of the radar is. I was pulling it up because I couldn't do it from memory. But yeah, it's the Payware WX Advantage radar integration. Yeah, not working just yet, but they say they are, so that's cool. They'll be getting to it. I just can't tell you much about it right now. But I would also like to say what's really cool is that they use the Flight 1 GTN 750 radar, which you can incorporate. And not only do you have the ability to have just one, you could have two. Now that is pretty cool. So, let's just going to jump in here and you're going to see some of these systems as I go through it. Now, I've already made a flight plan, so I'm just going to show you quickly how this whole integration works together. And I'm going to do this flight plan pretty quickly. I've been doing this flight 3 times already, and I've actually been trying to do a couple of takes, so we'll just get this done. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is put in our procedure. So we're going to depart, and we're going to be departing from Palm Springs. We're going to be doing Palm Springs to San Francisco International, if I hadn't mentioned it. So here we go to departure, and we're going to go to Cat 1, and we're departing on runway 31 left. Okay, so that's already in there. Now, load the departure, and you go to your last waypoint. And then you say, hey, I have a jetway here. Mind you, I've already done this, so that's why I'm able to say what these things are. So then the jetway we're going to go to is, the airway rather, is V137. So you just pop that in. And in the last particular waypoint of, let's see here. Oops, I did that wrong. It was already there. The waypoint where you exit the particular airway is going to be Papa Sierra Papa. So we go down to that. There it is. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's not Papa Sierra Papa. Oh, yes, it is. I'm totally confused. What was my last waypoint? We were exiting the SID, so we're going to Papa Sierra Papa. Where are you? Yeah, so we did the SID, and you came out at the last, so that's PSP. Yeah. So, let's see here. Go back. Alright, so that's our airway, so that's 130. Right, we're coming out of our way. That's Papa. I apologize. That's going to, we're going to come out of that airway at Papa. We said low airway. We even said which airway it was. It's 137. And so we're going to exit that airway at Papa Mike Delta. That's what I mixed up. So my apologies. Papa Mike Delta rather. And then we're going to enter a new airway. So let's go ahead and load that. And then here we're going to load a jetway or airway. Jetway gets on the airplane. I apologize about that. And we're going to go to V197, which is right here. Boom. And we exit this airway at Echo Hotel Foxtrot. Then we load this, and then we're going to have a new airway that we load. And that's going to be Juliet 65. And there it is. Alright, and we're going to exit that at Sierra Zulu, Quebec. And we got that. We load that airway. And then I think, yeah, that's it. So now all we have to do is, since that's our last one, I'm going to go ahead and load our arrival. So our procedure for our arrival is, let's see here. Yeah, procedure, arrival. And we're going to have to change our airport to KSFO for San Francisco. And then we are going to be arriving on, let's see, that's departure, so let me switch my electronic bag to arrival. Alright, my electronic flight bag. We're going to be in CREF, or really it almost looks like it looks surf. Bring it down here to S, there it is. Mine on electronic flight bag says 3, this says 2, so it'll work, just roll with it. So we load our arrival. And then we will load our approach, and our approach is going to be for runway 28 left. And here it says vectors, but we don't want vectors. We're going to want to use, we don't have a transition, so which one was it? Certain, Archfaith. I guess we will use vectors for the lack of knowing anything else. I'm going to pause for 1 second. Hold on. Okay, so what I realize is that they do not have a transition for this particular one. But if I look at my final waypoint, it's going to be CZ Charlie Zuzu, Quebec. So we will just make our adjustments in flight. So that takes care of all of our waypoints. We can now go to our map. And you see we will vector out until it's time to get onto our departure. So let's just get ahead and get out of here. Did that quickly. So I'm going to do one thing here. I'm going to turn on the dome lights. Make it a little brighter in here. And this is how we turn on our landing light. We're not going to do the cold and dark start and everything. Our runway heading is going to be 3-1 left. So I'm just going to get our heading appropriately. Actually, now that I think about it, our GPS, when we turn around, let me just bring this up so I can see it better. This is off screen, so you wouldn't see it. Actually, I should share it with you. Sorry, just bring it over here. So we have our initial heading. We're going to go along here to, and then do a procedure turn to 108 degrees. So I just want to put that in so that our plane can, you know, make its turn appropriately very quickly. So let's just go ahead and make that happen. So we're going to turn heading. and we're just going to go, I'm going to say roughly 30 degrees after takeoff to get us heading towards our proper GPS. And let's go ahead and put in our altitude. Our cruising altitude is going to be 25,000 feet. Now, air traffic control might, you know, take us to 12 and then to 25. But since the path we go has to go over the mountains, that's why this departure is actually here, because it gives you an opportunity to gain altitude before you head towards the mountains, so you're not, you know, in fear of running into them. So we're just going to go ahead and get this right here, right now. Okay, so we're ready for taxi. We're going to remove brakes, and we are going to get out of here. Alright, lock onto our aircraft. There we have it, and we are rolling. Okay. As you can see now, this thing wants to roll even when you're on idle. I don't care for that. That's a little bug I think that they should work out if you're watching. But I will say that the taxi in this aircraft is easy. Now, they provide you with checklists. As I said, we're not going to really pretend that plane wasn't there. We're not going to worry about the checklists for this, but I want to tell you about the flaps. So with your flaps, you have two settings. You have three settings. You have slats, which are leading edge of your airplane, and then you have flaps. Now, not like a 737 where you've got 1 degree, 5 degrees, 10 degrees, 15, 20, 25, and 30. You basically got slats, and then 20 degrees, and 30, and what is it, 60 degrees, I almost think? Let's take a look there. Yeah, 20 and 48. So you just got a lot of flap. So just be prepared for that. Definitely read the manual. Now, this plane is a plane you can just jump into and fly. But it also has systems where you can have a pretty immersive flight. And so I think you get the best of both worlds. So is this, you know, this plane is not cheap. It's like $50. I would have expected a plane like this somewhere between, I don't know, 23, maybe 40. But for the amount of fidelity that it has where you can operate with payware systems. But then that's the other thing. If you already have the GTN 750, great. It's something that you should definitely have, especially for your general aviation navigation. But if you think about getting the GTN at $65 and then this aircraft, you could be spending, you know, well over $120 to get all the things with third-party things, add-ons to add to it to kind of really give you the immersive experience. But hopefully you already have it so that you can get the full deal right off the back. So I am actually glad I already have the 750 GTN 750. Had it for a little while. I do enjoy using it. It changes the game if you're a general aviation pilot. I mean, it makes a lot of the planning so much easier. But then, you know, the old school pilots might just be like, nah, that's cheating. You need to learn how to do it the old-fashioned way, and you'll have a better appreciation for the electronic navigation for that. All right, so now we're on the one-way. We have our flaps out. So I'm going to bring it down for a second, and we're going to go up here, and we're going to go from taxi. Let's just see here. Did I do that right? Sorry. Oh, I had turned on landing lights as opposed to taxi. What was I thinking? Embarrassing, but that's all right. We're good. All right, so I think we're ready to go. Our V speeds for this is going to be V1 will be 112 knots, and VR will be at 126. All right, full throttle. Brakes released. Now it's a little wobbly. You're going to have to stay on your rudder pedals to stay on the center line.
Jet trim. Jet trim. Jet trim.
Okay, this is doing pretty well. Alright, rotate. Positive rate of climb. Gear up. Okay, so right off the back we want to put onto here altitude select and V vertical speed, because now when you turn on the autopilot, which is right here, it's going to get on that ascent rate. Now the other thing that you want to do, should have done this, sorry, is tell this to climb, I'm going to say at 1,000 feet, 1,200 feet. There we go. Should have set that earlier. Now remember, I'm not using auto throttle, so you don't want to go over your 250. Now, we're going to tell it to go heading. Actually, we want it to go nav, so that it'll start following and tracking our proper departure, which it's doing now. So I'm going to get back on the throttle so I don't go over 250. And I'm also going to turn my heading so I can get ahead of that. So now, okay, we're passing our navs. It's getting on top of it. Good. Now the thing is, you're going to be doing a lot of your keeping your speeds by being somewhere in the N1 of about over 75%. So I dropped a little low, but that's okay. We're plenty for still ascending. I'm going to go flaps up. And I haven't messed with the auto throttles yet because I've just got a lot to do with maintaining everything else. But as you can see, we are now on our departure. So we will go out over the Papa Sierra Papa radial, and then we will go over the VOR and then turn back, which in all of this is giving us an opportunity to gain altitude so that we will be able to pass over the mountains based on our flight path. Okay, so I'm bringing it back now to in the 70s. That's going to keep me under 250 at this rate of ascension. And I'm going to go ahead and crank up our vertical speed to 2,000 feet per minute. Yeah, we're going to get out of here like a bat out of hell. Okay, and that'll allow me to bring my throttles up to about, I think 75, a little over 75%. Okay. So we are tracking on course, and we are departing our airport, which, beautiful scenery. And then we will end up turning back around and heading out onto our flight. So as you can see down here, we should be guiding a little left here, and then we will do our turn, procedure turn. So far so good on our flight, and now all you have to do, manage your systems. And we're already at 7,000 feet, so that's good.
Autopilot?
Put that autopilot back on. There we go. Let's see. There we go. We're good. Okay, so now that you have us departing out, we're going to pause this really fast, and I'll bring you in when we get up to cruising altitude. Okay, we're almost at cruising altitude. We're 21,000 feet. As you see, we're running at about 3. Actually, I can tell you right here. We're doing. We're ranging at 466 at TAS in terms of knots, but our indication right here is that we're at 3. In this indicated airspeed at 3, a little 350, I think we're at. Let me zoom in here and see exactly. Using our old gas gauges, yeah, so 350 roughly. So just remember, when we get to cruising altitude, you're going to have to bring those throttles back or you might overspeed. And we're right now doing an ascent rate of 2,000 feet per minute, so we're cooking as we're getting up to our altitude. But yeah, things looks really good. Autopilot, go back on. Dang, why did I do that? Hold on. Here we go. And reset. Did I turn off the autopilot? It's back on. Good. Alright, and we can center. Good. So systems look good. And now we get our warning that we are coming to altitude, which is totally cool. Center.
Autopilot.
I have got to unbind my hot button on my joystick from the autopilot and hook it to something else. But okay. We're good, and now we're going to be leveling off. So in a minute we'll be able to pull back our V speeds. I mean, rather our N1. Let's see how much it climbs by. So let's get a look outside. Yeah, so we are cooking as we're heading to San Francisco. Nice. Okay, so we will bring you back in when it's time for our... Oh, yeah, let me show you this right now. So if you want to know what your top of descent is, and you want to use the GTN 750 to pull it off, what you want to do is go here to Utilities, and then Recalculation. And so then what you want to know is what... okay, that is telling me I need to come back on my throttles just a wee bit. So then you want to say, well, what waypoint and what altitude do you want to be at? So our target altitude is 3,100 feet. Actually, I want it to be 4,000 because we're going to be going right over a mountain. And I want to make sure that we clear it. So I'm going to put, this is what we want to be at. And then you say what altitude, which waypoint is it that you wish to have that altitude. So as I look in my electronic flight bag, let's see, doing arrival, I would like to be at roughly 4,000 feet when I get to, let's see, Sidby. Okay, so that waypoint, SIDBY, so we have 4,000, so that's fine. And we want it to be near, let's see, so we know that is. Gotta find it. Do they have He-Man. There we go. So we'll just say by He-Man, we want to be at that. So what it's going to do, it's telling you how long it's going to be before you need to descend at this descent rate. And if you were going to descend now, it's saying that you could descend at 400 feet per minute, and you would get to this waypoint at by the time you got there. But if you're going to use this time, and this counts down to 0, then at 1,200 feet per minute, you should be descending in 35 minutes. So it's actually pretty cool. So yeah, I'm going to go with that, and we'll bring you back when it's time for our approach. Okay, so it's time for our descent. So what we will do is go to our autopilot and hit vertical speed and arm. And now our aircraft should start to descend. Oh yeah, we just need to say what is our descent rate. We're going to say 1,200 feet per minute. Oh, negative. What was I thinking? Here we go. 1,200 feet per minute. And she should respond very quickly. Yeah, there we go. So now we're going to bring back our throttles because we're going to be descending. There we go. Alright, so now our descent has begun. And actually we should be pretty smooth. We'll bring them back to 250 knots once we get in the vicinity of 10,000 feet. So our passengers should be pretty happy right now. Now that we're in our descent, we won't need this page anymore, so we'll go back. Why don't I go do that? We'll go back to our map. This will be our final right here. So we're doing pretty good. Okay, so we're just under 10,000 feet, so I'm going to turn back on the landing lights. And yeah, my nav lights are already on, so we're good there. Let's see. We are now dropped just at 250, and I'm going to bring throttles back just even more, so I'm 48% in one. So we're going to bring it down just a little bit. And we're still descending at 1,200 feet. And we seem to be clear, not yet, of the mountains that should be coming up relatively soon. But we are looking good on descent so far. So I'm going to bring you back in a little bit, but I thought you might want to get a look at the scenery. Just so that you know, I am running active sky weather as well as FTX Rex Sky Force for weather textures. This is Orbx Global Scenery going along with Orbx Northern California, and I also flew out of Orbx Southern California, and we'll be flying into San Francisco International, which is Flightbeam's particular model of San Francisco, so it's a really nicely rendered airport. And so far so good, so I will bring you back in a few minutes. Okay, so we are ready to actually begin our final. We are coming in, about to intercept the glide path, and so everything's tuned up. We're just going to have to now switch our autopilot to heading, because we're going to do that. Because when we come back to nav, it's going to intercept the glide slope. So we have to go to our GPS and say that we're going to now go to VLOC. So everything is set up. When we see that the localizer is alive, we will switch to nav and approach. And as you can see, we're a little bit higher than the glide path, which is kind of what we would have anticipated. And we'll answer that in a minute. We want to get this flight over with. Okay, so now it's alive. So we're going to go to nav, so it should intercept it. And in fact, we're going to go to approach, so that it intercepts the glide path. And we're going to go ahead and reduce our speed. And it appears that we are perfectly on the glide slope. And we're going to lower our landing gear. Now, the manual suggests that for us to do what we need to do on our approach, for a non-precision approach, we should be at 140 knots at flaps 20 in 1, roughly about 68%. So we are going to, you know, lower our speeds and get down to 140, which you see we have a lot to do. And we're a little above the glide path, but it's adjusting nicely, so I'm not too worried about that at the moment.
Flight slope. Flight.
Alright, so I have armed our spoilers.
2,000.
Now we're back on the glide slope, so that's fine. We should burn off speed very well at this point. Looking good. I have no complaints. I'm going to give it slats 1. Because we're well below the maximum speed for slats. And what we want to do is get our V-speed around 140. And I'm going to give us
1,000.
flaps. It's also going to drop our speed.
900.
Alright, now I'm going to bring up.
800.
There we go. We'll bring it up. There we go. This should be
600.
nice. Okay, I'm going to take control of the aircraft at this point. Our speeds should be good.
500.
Autopilot is off.
400.
I'm dropping airspeed, so we should have a nice flare.
300. Flight slope. Minimum 100. Minimum.
Okay, we're a little low, but that's alright, I'm correcting.
Flight slope.
Oh yeah, we'll be fine.
100.
Don't even need to do
Flight
anything
slope.
here. Oh, plane taking off. Well, we weren't using ATC, so I'm not surprised about
Flight
that.
slope.
Okay, nice, gentle touchdown.
Flight slope.
Alright. Reversers out. We are decreasing speed. Doing good. Okay, we're going to be applying brakes. Alright, we'll be turning up here. Easy. So I'm sorry, captains. At this point of the video, it turned out that the segment where I taxied to the gate got deleted when I had a computer crash. So I just want to end it here and say, everybody, thanks for watching the video. Happy holidays to everyone. I hope you enjoy the aircraft and it can help you decide if you want to buy it. But happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, happy Kwanzaa, and I look forward to seeing you in the virtual skies. Remember to like and subscribe, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday.